Welcome to my channel. This is Clarityempress, the Empress of Clarity, here to do another reading for you today. But this reading will be a bit different. So if you like the video, please click, share, and subscribe. Let me slow myself down. Thumbs up the video. It's really appreciated. It helps the channel grow. But Spirit said to me today, do a mental and emotional health check-in with your people. I pulled some cards from a different deck that I'm using right now, and it was clear that it is something that Spirit wanted me to do. Now, I don't know how this is going to go, y'all, because I didn't predict anything. I just said, I just wanted to know, should I do it? Because it's been on my mind, like literally all day. So I said, Spirit, let's use my clairvoyant deck and just see what we need to check in with, And this is my collective audience. This is who it resonates for. This may not resonate for you. But one of the things that I notice for myself, from people I know, from people I read for, is that we really sometimes just cannot resonate with someone else's pain. So we don't understand the why people do what they do. And it's not, and I'm not saying that for an excuse for what people do, but there's always a why. And if you unpack and understand the why, it can help you navigate your situations better. Now, I'm not a therapist, right? But I've been told that my readings have been therapeutic. I am, though, a teacher or facilitator by nature. So when I say things, I don't expect you to have learned some profound thing, but what I would hope is that you take what you learn and then you go explore it some more. You go research, you unpack it, right? So like when I started my journey and I realized I had to understand what narcissism was, specifically for a particular situation. Well, that sent me down the rabbit hole because it helped me unpack some other familiar situations that I really didn't know or understand that that's part of that whole narcissism, or what they call cluster B personality stuff, right? So with that, it helped me start to understand relationships with people to the point where I'm not taking their behavior personal. Not in every instance. Now, I'm gonna get mad. I'm human, right? But after I finish going through my processing of the situation or the happenstance or whatever, I can unpack it and detach from it. Not always, but a good chunk of the time, because I'm still growing. And Spirit just has said, just check in with your people, because we get hurt from the people that we connect with, that we build relationships with, or at least we feel like we are. And these people are emotionally unavailable or damaged in some way, and they end up damaging us inadvertently and intentionally, right? And then we get left with the scars. And then we got to decide, like, do I want to stay in that hurt space? Do I want to take my anchor out on anybody? We don't want to do that. That's not the space we need to be in. So I'm just going to unpack a couple things and let's just see where it goes today. And if you like these videos, if this type of video is helpful to you, I can also direct you to others that have helped me in the past, but at the same time, I can continue doing some of these too. So let's unpack. Spirit, what's the message we have on my collective? And this is specifically for you or how you've been impacted by somebody. Wow. The first card up is emotional release. Let me see what the author says on this, because I know I've said it in previous video. I respect what the author says, even if I read intuitively. Sometimes I do like to read the book of what the author says, because these are oracle cards and there's a certain intention behind the imagery and in the words that they put on the cards. So let's see. It says, our emotions are powerful energy forces that affect how we experience everything in our lives. We don't just experience emotions with our minds, but with the whole of our body also. The physical body is the processing plant for all of our feelings and emotions. It's quite likely that ever since you were a child, you were taught to suppress certain emotions. Boys are often told not to cry or display any feelings of sadness or softness, while girls are often criticized for displays of anger, yet accepted more readily if they cry. These are simple examples from childhood, but we suppress so many of our feeling responses throughout the course of our lives. Suppressed emotions can have a detrimental effect on the body and your physical and emotional health. Ever notice that lump in your throat after fighting back the urge to cry, or the tension in your shoulders after keeping feelings of anger to yourself? Imagine the impact that a lifetime of behaving yourself can have on your overall well-being. And I'm going to stop there and say, listen, when we hold on to our emotions, they do impact our body. And there are charts. I feel like in Chinese medicine and maybe in Ayurvedic medicine, there are charts that shows where specific feelings rest in our body, right? So like they said, worry, I believe worry is in the kidneys. Stress and tension can be in the lungs. Uh, I know that our stomachs tend to be impacted a lot, because that vagus nerve that goes from the brain stem down into the stomach impact your dietary issues. Like, it can control your digestion. It can mess with your digestion, right? And it can also cause you to have a lack of concentration. It impacts a lot. And study have shown, I believe there was a study I think it was released in December 2013, showed that 75% of autistic children have GI issues. That's uh, gastro, the word's escaping me, but GI issues deal with your gastro tract, right? So, intestinal, sorry, I couldn't even get the word out. Gastrointestinal tract. So that probiotics would help that, right? Because if that can help settle the stomach, it could help with concentration. That's just one study. It said this card is encouraging you to find a safe and healthy way to release your pent-up emotions, because relying on occasional outbursts to relieve the tension is not enough for most people. Your body and mind need a healing process of an emotional cleansing. Years of learned behavior have taught most of us to judge our emotions and label them as bad, yet having a good cry for no particular reason can be very cathartic. Like a thunderstorm releasing all its power, the energy flows out, creating a fresh, clean space where sunshine and rainbows can appear. Pounding a pillow with your fist or driving to a remote location and screaming to your horse may seem juvenile to some, but if you have been holding on to feelings of immense frustration, your body will thank you for it. When you have finished your emotional release, give yourself a big hug or a pat on the back and thank your beautiful body for restoring the energy for you until you have found a good time to let it out. The effort of suppressing your emotions over long periods of time uses up a great deal of your energy, creating struggle and conflict inside. A conscious and deliberate release of suppressed emotions will give you more energy for other things and help you feel more balanced, clear-headed, and alive. I cannot tell you how, well, I'm going to tell you anyway, how I cried. I remember consciously allowing myself to cry. I was frustrated about a situation and I cried. I just cried. I released it. And by the time I wiped my tears and got myself together after it was over, I felt so much better that I didn't even know why I cried to begin with. What it let me know is I didn't need to cry over that particular thing again because I finally let it out. I released that tension from my body. And I know I store a lot of my tension personally in my neck and my shoulder. When I get a little stressed, that's the first place it lands. So think about your emotional releases. Like, where are you storing things up in your body? What pains you or what stresses you out? And then that feeling, I was just talking to a colleague and we were talking about working in schools in our district and how there were some buildings that we've left that we come out with a headache, and you literally need to go ground because there's so much energy in that building and your body is storing it in your crown chakra. So you literally get a headache. So the best thing to do after an interaction like that is to go ground, go walk barefoot in the grass, go hug a tree literally, or just go stand outside in nature and release it, because there's some things you can't control. So releasing is the best thing you can do is for yourself. Tell me more, Spirit. I feel like this was like the perfect card. A Spirit knew exactly what I needed for us to have this talk tonight, y'all. And when I say talk tonight, comment in the comment section. I like that interaction. That lets me know we have a discourse and that you're paying attention and that what I'm doing is helping or helpful to you. Tell me more, Spirit. Oh, at 8, the number 8 is about self. Happiness. Wow. So what the author wanted us to know with happiness, what the question is, what is happiness? Why do so many of us seem to struggle to find the happiness we need and want in our lives? Some people will tell you that happiness is your birthright, something you deserve purely by virtue of being alive. Yet when I speak to the angels and spirit guides about this, they always emphasize that happiness is actually a choice, and it is. Not a choice that can be made for you, but one that you make for yourself, moment by moment, day to day. I always tell my daughters, and my family members, that every minute you stay mad, you lose 60 seconds of happiness. So just think about how precious happiness really is. And if you just stay mad or you just find reasons to get mad, you losing all those seconds. Now, does it equate to save? Yes, but when you think of it in terms of like currency of your energy, you're losing a lot. You know what I mean? And it says, okay, what else she said? Choosing happiness and creating more of it are acts of conscious will. We can all understand that life will sometimes throw things at us that can be difficult to deal with. But even in these circumstances, it is possible to keep the discomfort or even suffering to a minimum by choosing to see the positives in your situation. Painful things will happen from time to time. How long that pain lasts will be up to you. A big part of your journey in this life is to simply find out what it is that makes you truly happy, then do more of it. Ultimately, most people find that it is simple that find it is the simpler things in life that bring true happiness, along with a form of self-expression that they have a flair for, such as gardening or writing their occasional poem. So, it says basically take time to contemplate the things that give rise to true feelings of happiness in your heart. Take the necessary actions to include more of this in your life. Choose happy thoughts and attitudes. Spread happiness. I have recently had to do a job, and um, the people involved in the job that I had to do was a task that somebody asked me to do last minute. Um, it involved a lot of moving parts. Now, I accepted a job to get paid to do the job. But the people, when I stood back and detached for a moment from the situation, they were very me, 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 me. Do it for me, do it for me, do it for me. And there was a time during that interaction where I pulled back from that and told, and gave them my full stop. Yes, I will do this. Yes, I agree to this. No, I will not do that. You must think of an alternative because that is not part of the equation. And when I was experiencing that with these people in particular, um, I had to choose not to allow that to consume me and make me angry. I had to not take it personal what they were doing because I saw from a greater picture that if it wasn't me, it would be someone else. And they would probably feel the same, if not worse. But the moment they paid me for the job, I literally released it. I didn't forget it because now it helped me create boundaries. Now I know I would not even accept something like that, whether it's short term, like last minute, was to help somebody, or um, in the future, period. Like I don't want that type of responsibility with people that in that particular position. That's the best way I can put it because I don't want to call anybody out in particular that might see this video and feel a kind of way, because I'd rather deal with them individually. But I literally pulled, and I was proud of myself because I remained happy. I remained true to myself. But it took me to detach from it and choose happiness versus the aggravation, excuse me, I'm sorry about the camera, that they were trying to give me because they didn't want to handle what they needed to handle. It definitely is a choice. That's what I'm gonna say. It definitely is a choice. Tell me more, Spirit. Ascendant Masters. Now I know in this particular deck, the Ascendant Masters have to do with the lessons that life teaches you and the roles that the Ascendant Masters play in what you learn about yourself. So it says the Ascendant Masters are such wonderful beings with the intense energy of peacefulness and light. They have a very high vibration, so even just thinking about one of them will lift your mood. Excuse me. Drawing this card means that at least one of the Ascendant Masters is making a connection with you now. Could it be that you need a nurturing touch, a passionate feeling of empowerment that Kuan Yin can bring? Perhaps Lord, I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to try to pronounce this phonetically. Sananda. Okay, Sananda is here to help you have faith in your life, or the great Germain is here to help you trust your own wisdom. The Ascendant Masters and their amazing blessings are too numerous to detail here. So do your research now and learn a little bit more about who they are. Then close your eyes, sit quietly, and ask to be shown the Ascendant Master who is currently reaching out to you. Always go with your first instinct or impression. Throughout the next 24 hours, focus your attention on your Ascendant Master as often as you can. Contemplate this being and what he or she represents to you. Don't try to extract a specific message from your new friend. Just be with them in whatever way you can. Mere language cannot be a profound enough tool for them at this time, so they will communicate with you through energy and feeling. Allow their warm support to come to you and embrace you. The Ascendant Masters are here to let you know that life is difficult now, that if life is difficult right now, it will soon improve. And if life is good, it can get even better. So what I got from that with the Ascendant Masters is that, in my religious tradition, which is an African spiritual religion, um, we have also Ascendant Masters, and we have what we call Orisha, which is energies of God, manifestations of God that we petition at specific times in our lives that we need, right? And when you call on them, that energy arrives is specifically for what you need in that moment. And then when you have another situation, could be totally different. There will be a different Orisha or a different Ascended Master that will come to you for your benefit, to soothe your pain. So we believe in one monolithic God, but that God is so encompassing that he will send, or he or she will send their energies, direct specific energies toward you to support you during your time of need. That's the best way I can put it at the moment, y'all. All right, tell me more, Spirit. Oneness. So what the author wants to say or convey with oneness is that the concept that we are all one can be difficult to grasp. You have drawn this card today to help you contemplate this truth in a down-to-earth way. Human life is filled with paradoxes and contradictions. We are both physical and spiritual beings. There are over 7 billion of us, all with varying ideas, feelings, attitudes, preferences, and beliefs. Our physical bodies add to our feeling of separateness. As human beings, we are individuals yet one with each other in all of life at the same time. It is a paradox that we can learn to embrace over time, to be both rather than just one or the other. We all need certain basic things to survive, such as food and water, and we all need some form of connection with others or with a higher power or creator that we believe in. None of us is an island. You know, not even going any further with the author, but what I would say about oneness is that, especially my husband has always said to me, no man is an island. We're not supposed to be so detached emotionally, so disconnected that we don't want physical touch, or we don't want the companionship of others, or that we don't desire to be around other people, completely in hermit mode. We're meant to come to the surface. We're meant to reach out to people, to have that intimacy, that friendship, to have trust. That is part of the oneness that we need with each other. Um, and sometimes when we get hurt, and somebody disappoints us and we lose trust. And a lot of times people don't realize that we have trust issues, but the trust issues really are with ourselves. Being able to trust ourselves so that we know who to trust, know who to connect with. And, it gets hard, and it will take us away from the oneness that we crave, that we desire, that we require. We require oneness with people and closeness with people, just like we require food and water and shelter. Like, it's necessary. That's why when, you're out in the cold, and let's just say you're camping, and the temperatures drop, body heat from each other can keep each other alive. But the more we're separated, the more chances, less chance that we have a survival. That's whether we're in the cold or whether we're, let's say, camping somewhere, period, in life. If we go together, we go stronger, we go faster. We go alone, we go slower. And we may not get there because we're going alone. Tell me more, Spirit. Chakra balancing. So this is Spirit's way of saying, listen, it is time to connect. It's time to connect with our own energy systems. And the chakra system is an energy system that radiates throughout our body, right? We have our root chakra. That is the base of our spine and below our sexual organs. And then we have the sacral chakra, which deals with passion and desire and, you know, what's the word? I was going to say inspiration, but I feel like that's more in the solar plexus. But that's, and so the root chakra is considered red, The sacral chakra is considered orange. And then the solar plexus, that deep inspiration, that will, I am, I can, I will, I'll do. That is in the solar plexus region, which is in the stomach. And then as you move up, you have the heart chakra, which is green. And then you move further up and you have the throat chakra, which is a blue color. And then you have um, the third eye chakra, which is your mind. And then you have your crown chakra, which is at the top of your head. That is encompassing of your mind, but also your spiritual enlightenment, download, and connection, like your intuition, you know? So we have all of this, and then we need to balance that out. Now, there are more chakras in the body, but people know of the basic 7, right? Which I just described to you. And the body needs to keep these in balance, because when your throat chakra closes up, it could be because you're not speaking from your heart. You know, it could be that you're not in your sacral chakra following your passion, or you're not feeling grounded. You're feeling a little loopy and disconnected because your root chakra is not connected. Or in your crown chakra, it could be a bit confused. Sometimes um we can be pulling, excuse me, from so many different energies that it's not even healthy, honestly. Some of us are vessels, open vessels. Some of us are closed vessels. And those open vessels have to be very careful who they're around, what kind of information they accept into their vessel, into their bodies, into their mind. The decisions that they make. They cannot operate when you know you're an open vessel, or when you learn that. Once you know better, you should do better. But then you learn that you cannot be naive with everybody. You do have to have a bit of little trust issues, because you got to learn to trust yourself. Go with your gut intuition. Follow your crown chakra. That gut is that solar plexus. Know that whatever you're doing is right for you. Does it resonate in your heart chakra? Does it make you feel good? Do you want to follow this passion and keep going with that chakra chakra? Do you feel grounded in your root chakra? Like, these things have to align. And a lot of times we don't align. We may speak out a lot, but then we speak out of turn. We might cry a lot, but we may be, you know, holding on to too many emotions that we need to release. Our head might be foggy because we're taking on too much information, or people pleasing and doing too much for others. So it's like, it's good to learn the chakra system for yourself if you don't know it. Um, it's good because it helps with your healing. It helps with your emotional release. It helps with being happy. It says the chakras are vital energy centers placed in and around the body. The 7 most well-known chakras sit in a line from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. In total, there are believed to be as many as 88,000 chakras. Wow, I didn't know that. And together they form an amazing energy circulating network. Keeping your chakras healthy will enhance your physical and emotional health. If you have drawn this card, at least one of your 7 main chakras require balancing and clearing down. Each of the 7 main chakras is connected to certain areas of the body and to various emotions and situations and stages in life. So work with the chakra that seems most closely connected to the issue you would like to improve. So, there's some meditations in here that the author talks about. But again, look up your chakras and analyze where you might need a little bit more help. And then follow some advice. Give it a try and see if what the advice for that chakra does for you. If you need grounding, you need to stand in nature, or maybe get a little Reiki work, stuff like that. If you need inspiration, in your solar plexus, you might need to practice some affirmations. You need to follow your passion. and your purpose, right? Or try to identify what they are if that chakra is off. I can tell you when my throat starts to close up, I know it's something either spirit doesn't want me to say, or somebody didn't want me to say, or somebody. For me, I pick up on other people's chakra issues. I could be talking to somebody and read them, and then I'm like, my head hurt. Is your head? Do you have headaches? Because so that's me being clairsentient because I can feel that. But it's very important that not only for me to feel others, but that I also be sensitive to my own energy. So you need to, practice being sensitive to your energy. So, I just wanted to come on and unpack some of this with y'all. I feel like this is, I don't know, I really was blessed with this deck by my friend, but this really is, it's a good practice to have to sit and process your emotions and your spirituality and your physical being and how those things link up. I feel like when you do that, you can start making healthier choices for yourself. Physically, emotionally, mentally, all of that, financially, you can make better choices. Are you buying too much of something that you don't need? Stop doing it. But you will know it once you start paying attention to yourself. Are you, do you need to clean something up? Declutter. Would that help your mind? Do you need to make a checklist so you can get certain things done in order to rest your mind on the things that you need to accomplish? We got to work on these things for ourselves, because a lot of times that we come to tarot, and a lot of times we want to hear, what about my person, and what's my person doing, and how is my person feeling, and what's the next step with my person. And that's all well and good, but how are we checking in with us? Because maybe your person isn't ready for you to be healthy. Maybe they're not on the same timeline, because you're over here trying to balance your emotions and they're not. That means it needs to be a little bit longer for this person to come towards you. Or you need to pursue the new love that might have stepped into place. You know what I mean? Like, it'll help you when you start balancing yourself out. You probably be less concerned with what somebody else is doing and more concerned about who you are, how you respond to it. A spirit also told me to mention triggers. I did a TikTok a while back, and I don't think I uploaded as a short here, but when somebody can trigger you, which that means they have emotional control over you. It's literally like having a remote control and being able to press your button. When you get a grip on you, when you balance out your chakras, when you have your emotional releases, you desensitize yourself from people triggering you, because you're more aware that whatever they're doing is for themselves, their entertainment, and not about you. It's not beneficial to you to allow anybody to trigger you. So when we balance ourselves out, we also start working on our triggers, because we start to understand ourselves more. I have a trigger. And I could tell you, because I can turn off my trigger and turn it on, depending on the situation. And my trigger is people lying to me. I don't like it at all. And sometimes I have a visceral reaction to it. But when I notice that it entertains the other person, then they don't get the reaction that they're looking for. I'm a very Gemini person when it comes to that. I will mirror back to you what you need, but I'm not going to give you everything you want just because you want to mess with me. And so I had to learn, though, my trigger needed to be more controlled, and that I need to stop and think before I react. Even though the person is wrong because they're lying, I still have to control me. And like I said, some people know what they're doing, so they can press your buttons to get you out of pocket. And I mentioned narcissists earlier, and I'll say that they're really good at triggering people. You know, you can't diagnose people, but you know if somebody's a jerk or not, right? So if you're dealing with somebody with narcissistic traits, they can unintentionally trigger you to get a reaction from you, then to be able to point the finger at you and then basically act like the victim, right? You don't want to give anybody power over you, dominion over your life in that way, because this person will do that for sport. And who wants to be somebody's victim? I know I don't. Narcissists pretend to be the victim all the time, but they do that for attention. You if you don't want to be a victim, then you got to get better control of yourself. So this is like a beginning of a series of readings I might do like this, but it depends on your reaction. Let me know if you felt like this was helpful. Please like, click, share, and comment. Comment in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel. And, let me know how it resonates. If this didn't resonate with you, I get it, and that's cool. Take it how it resonates. If it doesn't resonate, don't take it. I appreciate you coming to my channel. Thank you, and peace.